cylinders, closed cylinders, and the rest. Okay, so the purpose of this live streaming class is to give you detailed informations of how you can solve any advanced form of questions related to any of the topics I'll take. So for instance, last week you looked at what angles, and you saw some horrible diagrams relating to angles. Okay, we want to go to the extreme so that whatever is thrown at us during external exams, we will be able to sort that out. Okay, so without wasting time, we are going to move to our very first example. And our very first example says this. They are saying that the surface area of a cube is 1014 centimeter square. Okay, so this SQ centimeter is the same as what centimeter square. Okay, so having this thing basically means that we are supposed to use this surface area of a cube to find the volume of the cube. Okay, now surface area basically means the total area if you should add all the areas that make up what the cube. Okay, if you should add all the areas that make up the cube, that should give you the total or the surface area. If they add total, fine, but if they just say surface area, it means you are supposed to include everything. So I'm going to quickly draw a cube here, a nice cube. Pardon me if my drawing is not what you are expecting. I'm going to draw a nice cube here, and then we are going to look at it into details. Now let's say x be the side, okay, of the cube. Now the word cube becomes very important because a cube means that all the sides will have the same measurement, okay, because it's a cube. A cube is made up of what? A square, and with the square all sides are equal. So which means that if this place is x, this place is also going to be x, this place is also going to be x, this place will 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 be x. Okay, now we want to count the number of squares that produce what? The surface area of a cube. Okay, the number of squares that are supposed to join together to produce the surface area of a cube, and the number of squares that are joined together to produce the surface area of a cube basically will be the number of faces that will make up what? A cube. And the number of faces that will make up a cube, we have what? 6 faces. Okay, 6 faces. Okay, so if we have 6 faces, one face is actually a square. Okay, and a square, to find the area of that square. So we are trying to build the whole concept. The whole concept is that we are supposed to find the total surface area of what? A cube first. Okay, we have to find how or what the formula is going to be. Then we are going to equate it to this. Then we can use that to find the length of or the value of x. Then we can use the value of x to find the volume of the cube. So that's how we want to build our information. I only have 21 people watching. We are supposed to be 101 in the class. So please, if you have a friend who is not here, kindly just send a text quickly so that your friend can join you. By the way, let me continue. So as I was saying, we know that we've established that what? The faces, the number of faces or the number of squares that will make up a cube is 6. And then to find the area, okay, to find the area of one square, is going to be x times x. Why x times x? Because a square has the same side, okay? All the sides of a square are equal. So to find the area of one square is what? X times x. Now with x times x is the same as what? X squared, right? So it means that if you want to find the total surface area of this cube, it means that we are going to do this. We are going to multiply 6 of what? This x squareds are going to be what is going to give us the surface area. Okay, because one is x times x, the other is x times x. So we want to find all the areas that will form this cube. Okay, and all the areas that will form this cube, we have 6 faces. Now the 6 faces, in each face we are supposed to multiply x by x in order to find the area. So at the end of the day, it's going to be what? X times what? X squared times 6. Okay, that's going to give us the surface area. Now they are saying that this formula is equal to 1014 centimeter square. So this whole x times 6 times x squared is equal to what? 1014. Okay, someone is saying they can't see. I don't know. I'm actually watching on my desktop whilst I'm doing the thing on my laptop, and it's very clear. So if you are now joining us, then don't worry, you get there. Okay. I need someone to take control of the chat section because I can't do that at the same time teaching. So someone will reply the people's comments. That's if you are okay with whatever is going on. So once we've established that what? X squared, 6 of that should give us the total surface area, and then the question has actually given us the answer to the total surface area. Okay, so once we've established that, we can easily find x. Why do we need to find x? Once we find x, we'll be able to find the volume of the cube. If I draw another cube here, let's look at how to find the volume of that cube. Okay, so if I draw another cube here, the volume is going to be the length times the width or breadth times the height. Okay, so this value of x is actually very important for us to find. Okay, the value of x is actually very important for us to find. And in so doing, we would have to first of all make x the subject. Once we are able to find the value of x, then we should be able to find the volume of what? The cube. So in order not to waste time, when you have something like this, all you need to do is to divide both sides by what? 6. Okay, so we cancel, and then we'll now have what? X squared. Now we want to find out 1014 divided by 6. What would that give us? I think that would be 169. Okay, so once we've established that x squared equals 169, then we'll quickly try and get rid of the square, because they said we should find x. They didn't say x squared. So we are going to get rid of the square by introducing the square root. We've gone over this over and over again. Okay, so Oriku wants to take charge of the chat. That's fine, thank you very much. So we will cancel, and now we'll have this. Now I want to find the square root of what? 169. Square root of 169 basically should mean what number will multiply itself or each other, or what number will multiply itself to give us what? 169. And from what I know, that number should be 13. Okay, so that number should be 13. So 13 times 13 should give us 169. Okay, 13 times 13 is the same as what? 13 squared. So it means the value of x is what? 13. So it means that this side will be 13 centimeters and this side will also be 13 centimeters. If you are applying the size, then it means this side will be 13 centimeters, which is the width. The length will be 13 centimeters and the height will also be 13 centimeters. So once we have this, let's write the formula for finding volume down. Okay, the formula for finding volume down, because all the lengths are the same, is actually length times what? Width times what? Height. Okay, but because all the lengths are the same, it's actually going to be length times what? Length times what? Length. Or if you want to go straight for it, it is what? X times what? X times what? X. And then we all know that x times x times x, the same number multiplying itself 3 times, will basically give us what we know to be x cubed. Okay, so it basically, now we know x, so where x is equal to 13, we should have 13 times what? 13 times what? 13. Okay, and who can give us the answer to that? 13 times 13 times 13 should be 2197. Okay, 2197. Now take note that we are dealing with what? Volume. So if you are dealing with volume, sorry, you can't see, I just realized that. So let me clean that portion and bring it to a different side. Okay, so if you are dealing with volume, then it basically means that it's going to be 2197 0.97 centimeter cube, because volume is what actually equal to cube. Brendan, thank you very much for that answer. So basically, this is how you should go about it. So whatever you are given, try and find the formula for that, and then derive a variable that's going to help you find the other one. You should find not, if not exact, a different form of this question in your assignments. Okay, so please take note if you want to basically score everything, because your scores are not really encouraging at all. Okay, your scores are not encouraging. So we're going to move to the next question. The next question says that calculate the volume and total surface area of a cylinder that has a radius of 7 centimeters and height of 9 centimeters. So this is actually a 2-in-1 question. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to divide this side into 2, and then we are going to look at how to find the volume and the total surface area. Now quickly, before we do any of that, I'm going to draw a cylinder, because it's going to help us understand what they are trying to say, or what they are saying we should find. Okay, if they say radius, it means that it's from the center to the circumference. So that radius is what, 7 centimeters. And then if they say height, then it is how tall the cylinder is, and that is 9 centimeters. Okay, so once we've established this, now let's look at the word total surface area of a cylinder. Total surface area of a cylinder, we know a normal cylinder will be closed. Okay, we are talking about solid shapes here, so a normal cylinder should be closed. Now if a normal cylinder should be closed, then we have the net of that cylinder. So we'll have one circle here, which will be the top cover, another circle here, which will be the bottom cover. Now the interesting aspect is this side of it. Okay, so when we get to the total surface area, we'll talk about that. But for now, let's start with the very first part, which is what, the A part, that is demanding that we find the volume of the cylinder. To find the volume of the cylinder, basically it is just the circumference multiplying what, sorry, it's just the area multiplied by what, the height. Okay, why should it be the area multiplied by the height? The volume of a cylinder is basically me having the same area of a circle being piled up for it to create a cylinder. So if this was done well, maybe with a compass, you realize that this thing has formed a cylinder. How did it form the cylinder? It basically formed the cylinder by piling up what, the circles together. So that is where the height comes into what, play. Okay, and then we use what, the area that is involved. So now quickly, to be able to find the area and height, okay, you should be given from the question, but to be able to write it, we all know that the area of a circle, okay, is what, pi r squared. Okay, we all know that pi normally will be given to us as 22/7. If it's not given to us as 22/7, it's given to us as 3.14258 or something. Okay, but there is 2 decimal places. It's always 2 decimal places. Okay, so it is 3.14. That is what you should concentrate on. So no matter how big the other ones is, if you round it off, you shouldn't get more than 14 or 14. Okay, so this is the area, and then we just have to include the height. Okay, so by including the height, then it means that the volume of a cylinder should be pi r squared times what, h. Okay, so that's the volume of what, a cylinder. We take into consideration the area of the circle forming the cylinder, and then how many circles will be stashed up per the drawing I have done. How many circles will be stashed up in order to get that cylinder? Okay, so the height determines the number of circles that will be stashed up. That's how come we multiply it by what, the height. So that is the formula for finding the volume of a cylinder. Now we have our r to be 7 centimeters, and then we have our height to be 9 centimeters. So we are going to do some form of calculation here. I hope everyone is ready to do the calculation with me. So if you don't have a notebook and you're just lying down watching me, that's a wrong posture. Try and get a good posture with a notebook and a pen so that you can follow this. Okay, the fact that the video is always going to be on YouTube doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn something during the live class. So let us participate. I know most of you, your names, So what I'm going to be doing is that I'll mention your name if I need you to do any form of calculation for us. In order not to waste anyone's time, please, when I mention your name, you should work fast to give us the answer. Okay, so basically, let's quickly do that. We've established that we're going to use 22 over 7. So volume will be equal to 22 over 7, and then pi, the r is being squared. So it means that 7 times what? 7 times the height, which is 9. Okay, so if you want to go further, let me change the marker. This 7 will cancel this 7, and then if you want to reduce it, we'll now have what? Volume equals what? 22 times what? 7 times 9. Okay, so someone should do that calculation for us quickly. 22 times 7 times 9. What would that give us? Ajwa, today is your birthday, so what would that calculation give us? Quickly. Ajwa, I know you can hear me, so quickly. I don't know why you're using someone else's name on YouTube. So Ajwa, calculation for 22 times 7 times 9 will be. So you can start with by doing the 22 times 7, okay? Okay, so I am guessing the way Ajwa worked, that she used the calculator or not. Anyway, so that's just by the way. So 22 times 7 should give us 154 times 9. And 154 times 9 should give us 138. 138. Okay, so Oracle, you made a mistake with that. So it's actually 1386 centimeter cube. 1386 centimeter cube basically is the answer. And then the good thing is that you see people are giving different answers. So once I approve one of the answers, then you should go back and check your calculation and ensure that whatever you did, okay, you should be able to trace your answer. Please stop deleting the wrong answers. It's a community, we are all learning. No one is going to judge anyone for putting out the wrong answer. Okay, so let's feel free. It's a learning process. Sometimes I can also make mistakes and all that, and you prompt me. Okay, so basically our volume for this particular cylinder is going to be 1386 centimeter cube, because we are dealing with what? Volume. Okay, cube, because we are doing with volume. Now let's go to the total surface area. Now I have drawn the cylinder on the right hand side, and I've made a statement that the total surface area will include the rectangle that actually forms the cylinder, and then the two circles that will form it, because when we talk about cylinder and they don't make mention of whether it is an open at one end, closed at one there, or closed at one end, or a hollow cylinder, or open at both ends, then it basically means that it is closed. Okay, so we are going to take into consideration cylinder circle 1 and circle 2. Okay, and then we're going to take into consideration the rectangle. Now the rectangle, the shape of the rectangle will inform us on how to find the area of that particular rectangle. Now to have a rectangle, we know that we have the L and then W. Okay, L and W, or whichever way you want to put it. And this L and W, the area should be what? L times W. Okay, but because of the way the shape of the rectangle is, remember, if it is a rectangle, it is going to be folded round this way in order for it to create that form of what? Cylinder, before the circles come to cover. Okay, so that folding should be able to give us the length of it. So remember, if I'm trying to fold this, I'll go this way. Okay, so it is the length actually folded. And if I fold that, okay, and I use my hand to pass the round shape that has been formed by that rectangle, then it basically means that that is the circumference. That is the circumference. So because we're given radius and we're given height, we need to utilize the radius. So we would have to use the circumference of the circle that is forming the rectangle or the cylinder to equate it to what? The length. Okay, so it basically means that the circumference of the circle that forms the cylinder is the same as the length of the rectangle. Okay, we need the length because it's very, very important, and then the width becomes the same as the height. Okay, so if this is my cylinder and I fold it this way, it will maintain this height, and that height is the same as the width. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So L is going to be, we know the formula for finding the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Okay, and then we know the height will be the same as what? The width. Okay, so let me just do width over here is equal to height. So once we've established these two, remember we are going to be solving this thing in three parts. Okay, so we want to start with the part 3. Part 3 is the rectangle. So part 3, we've established these two. So to find the area is going to be what? 2 pi r plus, is it plus? No, times h. Okay, so times h because it is length times width, not plus h. Okay, so we'll clean that and then we'll move to times h. Okay, so this will be the part 3 that we are supposed to do the calculation for, and then this is going to be, let's look at part 2. Now the good thing is that part 2 and part 1 should have the same formula, so we can actually find part 1 and then we multiply it by what? 2, or we can actually find part 1 and add the same amount to it in order to get for both circles, because it's the same area of a circle that is going to be used. Now the area of a circle basically will be pi r squared. Okay, the area of a circle typically will be pi r squared. Okay, now so we will quickly do the calculations for that. We are starting with part 3. So part 3, which is the rectangle, will mean that we'll have 2, let me write the formula again, h. Okay, so having that to be 2 times 22 over 7. Remember we are taking pi to be 22 over 7, and then times what? 7. Remember it is not squared, so it is just 1 7 times the height, which is 9. Now I'm going to change the marker so that we can do our beautiful cancellation. So this 7 will cancel this 7. So now we should have 2 times 22. Who will answer that for us? Let's see. Who has not spoken in my class before? So Farah, I think Farah is in Form 1, so Farah should try and do that calculation for us. If it is credit that is using Farah's this thing, that's shameful. Why should you use your sister's account to watch lessons? So if it is Farah, then you can answer this for us quickly. So in order to do that, we'll have awesome. So Farah, is it the whole calculation, which is 2 times 22 times 9? So 2 times 22 give us 44 times 9. So 44 times 9, what would that give us? 44 times 9, is it the 396? Is it 396? Oh, I'm talking to you guys. So 44 times 9 is 396. Okay, so it means that our area, which is be centimeters squared, will be what? 396. Now let's look for the area for the whole calculation saying. Okay, so now let's look for the area for the circle. Now remember, the circle, we just need 1, and then we just have to add or multiply it by 2 because they are the same. They use the same radius and then whatever. And then the pi is always a constant. So let's find just one part and then we'll multiply it by 2. So part 1, which will give us pi r squared, right? So 22 over 7 times what? 7 times what? 7. Okay, so we'll cancel this, and then 22 times 7 should give us 154 centimeters squared. Okay, and then we are saying that this is just for the one circle. Okay, so the second circle should also be what? 154. Okay, so we can add both of them, or you can decide to just do multiplication by multiplying it by 2. So adding both of them should give us 308 squared. So now we have two different calculations. We have this, and then we have this. Okay, we have two different calculations, and then with these calculations, what we are going to do is that we would have to add them because they are saying total surface area. Okay, total surface area. So adding them, our total surface area. Please don't write in short if you are writing, and I'm trying to utilize the space on the board. Okay, so the thing is actually covering whatever I've written. So I'm going to move to this side. Okay, so sorry about that. So it means that the part 1 we had 308, and then that's for part 1 and part 2. Okay, and then part 3 we had 396. Okay, so total surface area means that we are supposed to add everything. Okay, so in adding every single thing, we should have 308 plus 396. Okay, and that should give us 704. Awesome, you guys are doing very well. It means that you are following me. Thank you, Frances, Oreku, Elom. You need to text me because I don't know why you stopped doing Kahoot. Hamon, thank you very much. So remember, the unit is always important. The unit becomes a square because we are talking about what area, and that is it. That brings us. So you see this whole calculation. Even if you don't know the details, breaking down the shape and then taking them bit by bit and then bringing them back together should be able to get you to the right answer. Okay, should be able to get you to the right answer. Thank you, Catherine Loco, for answering that. So we are going to move to the next example. Now the next example is a long one, but it should be interesting. Okay, any type of uh, word problem that is given to you, and if it is pertaining to area and volume, try and do some form of drawing for it. Okay, try and do some form of drawing for it. Okay, if you don't do some form of drawing for it, then you should find yourself wanted. Okay, so we'll quickly look at how to solve this particular one. Now they said, well, a concrete beam is to rest on two concrete pillars. Okay, so the beam is a cuboid. So I'm going to draw a cuboid quickly. Please don't laugh at my drawing, okay? I'm a math teacher. And then, so the pillars are what? Pillars, we want to find out if it is a circular. See, obviously, pillars are mostly circular. Once they've given us diameter and height, it means we are dealing with some form of cylinder-looking pillar. So this is what we should have. Okay? My drawing looks good. Better than yours. Okay, so this is what we should have. So this beam, okay, this concrete beam is supposed to be sitting on these two pillars. Okay, it's supposed to be sitting on these two pillars. And then they are saying that they are now going to check the volume of concrete that was used to make, or that is needed to make the beam and then the concrete. Okay, so yeah, and then there was a statement that you should run your answer to a sensible level of accuracy. So please, if you have decimal places, you shouldn't be doing some form of thing. So we'll go into that. Okay, so let's quickly separate this shape. So with this particular shape, it means I have this beam. Okay, I have this beam there. Okay, and then I have two cylinders. The cylinders are basically the pillars. How did I know that pillars are actually in the form of a cylinder? So once diameter and height is mentioned, you should be dealing with some form of what? Circular or circular looking shape. Okay, diameter or radius should give the clue that you'll be working with some form of circular shape. Okay, so that's how come I know that the pillars are in a cylinder form. Okay, so once we have it, they are saying that we should calculate the total volume of concrete needed. So immediately we would have to find the volume of this cuboid, and then we would have to find the volume of this tube. Okay, so it means it is in what? 3 parts. But just like this example we did, even though it's in 3 parts, 2 of those parts are the same. So all we need to do is to concentrate on finding one part of those 2, and then we can quickly add or do multiplication by 2 to get the answer for the 2 pillars. So first of all, this is part 1, and then this is part 2, and then part 3. Remember, part 2 and 3 are the same. Okay, so we just have to multiply it by 2 or add. Okay, you just have to multiply by 2 or add. So quickly, let's dive into solving this particular example. Okay, you should see something like this in your assignment. The assignment will be added to the description before the live stream ends. Okay, the assignment will be added to the description before the live stream ends. And then please, if you are watching, please kindly hit the thumbs up button. I had to go through a whole lot of frustrations in order to get this to you. You remember I was saying at the beginning of the class that my desktop started misbehaving, so I had to follow my laptop, and then I had to follow my laptop and then try and get this class to you, because I never want to miss a class, because I like you guys as students and all that. So quickly, let's go to the finding the volume. So a cuboid, basically, to find the volume, we need three measurements. We need the length, the width is this side, and then the height. Okay, so volume of a cuboid is the same thing, length times what, width times what, height. Okay, now when we go closely to this, these are the measurements. Because it is multiplication, we don't care which one comes before the other. Okay, we don't care which one comes before the other. So volume is going to be, we don't care if it is actually the length, that is 0.5. We don't care if it is the 3, that is the width or the height. We don't care whether the 0.4 is the height or the width, because multiplication is commutative. So whichever way I position any of them, I should get my answer. So we don't need to worry about that. So volume has been given. The length, we have three different lengths there, which means that we can use it to find the cuboid, the volume of the cuboid. So we quickly do our multiplication. To make this very simple, we are going to change the decimals to what? Fractions. Okay, so we have 0.5. Remember, anything 0.5 is over 1. So if I flip the dot this way, I add 0 to it, this becomes 5 over 10. You can leave it this way, or you can decide to break it down. I'll leave it this way because it will be easy for me to do some form of cancellation when it gets to that. And then I'll do for the 0.4. 0.4 is over 1. So when I flip, add 0, 4 point what? 4 over 10. Okay, so when I bring all this here, this will be 5 over 10 times 3. I can do 3 over 1 times what? 4 over 10. Okay, so when we quickly look at this, what will happen is that this 4, 2 will go into 4 how many times? 1 time, and it will go into 10 how many times? 5. Okay, and then I can do the cancellation here. 5 here 1, 5 here 2. Okay, then I can rewrite this. Why do I have to rewrite it? You have to rewrite it so that your work will stay clean. Your work will stay clean. It's very, very important to leave your work clean. Don't go ahead to do some extra cancellations here. You might miss something. Okay, so with this one, I know it is 1 over 2 times what? 3 over 1 times what? 2 over 5. Okay, so having that, now I can say that this 2 will go and cancel this 2. So if I have to go further, it will be 1 over 1 times what? 3 over 1 times what? 1 over 5. So at the end of the day, this is going to be 3 over 5. Okay, now 3 over 5, you can decide to change it to decimal or leave it this way. I would prefer to change it to decimal because it's actually easy to work with decimals and with fractions. Nevertheless, they are saying that you should round your answer to the sense to what? Whichever level of accuracy, but which means that if you are going to do something of rounding, you can't do rounding of the numbers if it is in a fraction form. You have to change to a decimal fraction. So changing this basically means that we have to change the denominator to a multiple of 10. So if I multiply this by 2, I should get 10. So this will give me 6 over 10, which is the same as 0.6. Okay, so it means that the beam, the area for the beam is what? 0.6 centimeter. Is it meters? Okay, sorry. So it will be what? 0.6 meter squared. So let me clean that. Okay. I'm rushing too much because I don't want us to spend the whole day here. Then again, oh, I've written centimeters again. What is happening? Then again, what is going on in the chat? Okay, so then again, I've even forgotten. You guys have distracted me, but let's ignore the chat section. So we have 0.6 meters squared. Okay, so we will quickly move to finding the area of one of the cylinders. Remember, they are the same cylinders that are supporting the beam. The thing we need to concentrate on is this diameter and then the height, which is going to help us find that. So we are looking at what? pillar. So let's look at the formula for finding the volume of a cylinder, and that will be pi r squared h. Okay, so pi r squared h, we know that pi will always be 22 over 7 or 0.13. Your level, they prefer giving you the fractions. 0.13 gives you some form of inconsistency when you use it in calculation, because it has actually been shortened. It's actually 0.16852 or 0.16258, blah blah blah. So if you just get rid of all the 258 blah blah blah, then it reduces the value. So sometimes when they give you 22 over 7 and you decide that, okay, me, I prefer using the 0.13, your answer will be different, and that's where you'll be marked wrong. Okay, what was happening in the chat section? I'll read it later. I don't know what was happening. Okay, so we've established that the beam is 0.16. Now let's go back to finding the volume of what? The cylinder. So once we've established that pi is equal to 22 over 7, then we can confidently say that 22 over 7, and then before we do anything like that, the diameter, okay, so this was what this, when you guys had a chat, this was what I was coming to explain, and I got distracted. So remember, we've been given diameter to be 0.4 meters. Okay, now 0.4 meters, we need radius. Because of the formula I've written here, we need radius. Okay, to find radius, you need half of the diameter to give you the radius. So it will be this, and then which means that 0.4 over 2, which will give us 0.2. Okay, so that will be 0.2. If you prefer to use the fractions, which I'll be changing to fractions very soon, what you can do is that change the fractions here before you use it, but I want to explain. So, and then times 2, the height is 2. Okay, so times 2. Now for us to go further, let me just circle this so that it doesn't distract us. For us to go further, we'll have 22 over 7 times 2 over 10 times what? 2. Why 2 over 10? Because 0.2 is 2 over 10. Okay, so now let's try and see if we can do some form of cancellation. This 2 will go here, 1, 2 will go here, 5. So now we'll have 22 over 7 times what? 2 over 5. I don't think we can do any form of cancellation. So when we go ahead, we should have 44 over 35. Okay, so solving for 44 over 35, what do you think will be the answer? 44 over 35 in decimal form. 44 over 35 in decimal form, please. But then again, if you don't want to do any of that, okay, if you don't want to do any of that, what you can do is to actually go ahead and multiply it by 2, because you know the pillars here are 2. Okay, okay, so basically you have to do that. Okay, oh, okay. So the reason why the thing was not adding up is that it was supposed to be r squared, and I just made it just r. Okay, so it means that we would have to reverse this whole thing and correct that. So I'm going to clean all this, and no one was talking. You see the result of what people do in these things. So yes, I missed one r. Thank you very much. Very cool. So we are going to multiply it by what? 0.2 times what? 2. Okay, so let's see if we can do the cancellation again. I think I'll prefer multiplying the 0.2 by 0.2. Let's see, 0.2 by 0.2. 0.2 by 0.2 should give us 2 over 10 times what? 2 over 10. Okay, this will cancel this to give us 5. This will cancel this to give us 5. So 5 over 1 over 5 times 1 over 5. This will give us 1 over 25. So 22 over 7 times what? You can do the 1 over 25 times what? 2. Okay, so I've actually summarized all this. Okay, I've actually summarized all that. Okay, so basically, please, let's be careful. What happened initially was that it was supposed to be r squared, but I just used r. instead of using r times r, which gives me r squared. That has been corrected. Now when that is corrected, you know that 0.2 is the same as 2 over 10. So it is going to be 2 over 10 times 2 over 10. When you break that down, you should get 1 over 5 times 1 over 5. And when you do the multiplication, you know multiplication should give you 1 times 1 and 5 times 5. So which is going to be what? 1 times 1 is 1, and then 5 times 5 is 25. So that's going to be 1 over 25. That's how come we have 1 over 25 here. So we'll quickly try and see if you can do something about the breaking down. We can't do anything about it, so this will still give us 44 over 7 times 25. What will that give us? 7 times 25. What will be the answer to 7 times 25? Quickly in the chat section, that's what you are supposed to be using the chat section for. Okay? Yes, I'm waiting. I should give you 170 something. 170 something. So 175. So 175. Okay, 175. What is going to happen is that when we do long division for this, you should get 0.2 something. Who can tell me the answer? 0.2. I'm giving you the clue. 0.2. Yes, 44 divided by 175. We should give you 0.2. Yes, please continue. Who can give me the answer? Let's hurry up. People are still writing 175. Yes, we found that. Okay, because of time, 0.251. I'll end at 0.251. It's supposed to be 0.251 for blah blah blah, but I'll end at 0.251. Okay, so now that we have this is just for one pillar. Okay, this is just for one pillar. Thank you very much, Na Dromo Hammond. This is just for one pillar. Okay, I think the one is also important. So now Dromo Hammond, you shouldn't have shortened it that way. So one pillar, we need 2. So how do we get the other? We just get the other by just multiplying by 2, or you add the same thing to itself. So total, I'll write here total pillar, which is 2, should be equal to what? 2 times what? 0.251. Okay, what will be the answer to that? 0.251 times 2. 0.251 times 2. 0.251 times 2. Come on, guys. Should give us 0.5 something. 0.502. Okay, so I end at 0.5028. Okay, or you can write 0.51. Okay, 0.502 or 0.5. Okay, now we have this as the volume of what? The pillars, the 2 pillars, and we have this as the volume of what? The beam, which is the cuboid. Okay, to find the total volume, concrete needed, we just have to add this 2. We just have to add this 2. Now adding this 2 should give us 0.16 plus 0. I don't know if you guys can see. So I'm going to bring that here so that you guys will be able to see. So that will be 0.16 and then 0. Because the 0 is not relevant, so this will give us 1.1. So 1.1 meter cube. Okay, because we are dealing with volume, don't forget it is meter cube. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot, but if you are able to break it down step by step, you should be good to go. That is why it's very important for you to be on the live class, because if you watch it later, you might be confused as to what we are talking about. Okay, so please encourage your friends who are not here to watch and all that. We have 27 people watching, we have 22 likes. Okay, I don't think you are being fair if you are watching and you've not liked the video. If you are not a subscriber to, I don't think you are being fair, because I'm doing my best to bring content to you. Anyone joining us who is not part of Richard School, you are welcome. We do this almost every Tuesday and Friday, but I do random videos. But so it's very important for you to subscribe to the channel. Today I should be doing some form of video talking about how to prevent spending too much time on social media and concentrating on your books, especially during this pandemic. where you have data and mobile devices at your exposure. So we'll be looking at that. We'll also be looking at how to use Google Keep to organize notes and to save notes and all that. And then I'll also be doing a video tutorial on how to use Google Calendar to organize yourself, so that if you are doing any form of online learning, you don't get confused as to the timetable, whether you've turned in assignments and all that. Okay? And then if you are someone who enjoys learning on mobile phone, if I talk about Google Keeps, you should be able to utilize that to save up your science notes, your math notes, your social studies notes, so that wherever you find yourself, you can actually get access to them. Okay? And then it doesn't matter whether you use Android or iOS. Google Keeps is a web application by Google, so you can access it anywhere: desktop, laptop, phones, any kind of phones, even Blackberries. I don't know if they still exist anymore. So this is our second question, and it's a very interesting one. So they are saying the diagonals of a rectangle is 13 centimeters if the area is 60 centimeters square. So please, this is the short form of writing 6 centimeters square. Okay, but I'll not advise, if you have to write the symbol or write the whole thing in full, where you bring centimeter before the square. Okay, so basically now they are saying that we should find the perimeter of the rectangle. So we'll quickly draw a rectangle, and then we're going to do the diameters of the rectangle. Oops, my diameter is not straight. So we're going to draw the diameters of the rectangle. Now, once we've established this, we should be able to quickly come up with a formula that is going to help us understand the diameter and how to find the diameter of a rectangle. Okay? Nathan, what are you saying? Okay, so now to find the diameter, we want to use Pythagoras theorem. So I'm going to take this opportunity to explain it quickly. For those who do the Sky class, this has already been taught. For those who are just in a normal school class, this has not been taught, so I'll just chip in something small. Now, Pythagoras says that to find, we have A, B, C. So these are the sides. He's saying that the slopey side should be, the square of the slopey side should be equal to what? The square of the vertical side times the square of the, plus the square of the base. Okay, so what it means is that to find this, when you square this, you should get this plus this. Okay, so that's the purpose. Okay, so when they say diagonal, this is actually the diagonal, because if I use this and I even flip this over with an additional symbol, it should still give me a diagonal. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. So we are going to use this principle to answer. Yes, Blackberry says this. Yeah, thank you very much, Nathan. So we are going to use this principle to answer this question. Okay, so using this principle, if this is a normal cube, it basically means that this place will be the length and this place will be the width, and then the diagonal has been given to us to be 30. So we'll name this place as well 13. Okay, so it basically means that if you are using this formula, this place is B, this place is A, and then this place is C. So if I should rewrite this, it becomes, okay, we are not going to go into Pythagoras theory, okay, or theorem. We are not going to go into that because it's a broad topic on its own. So I'm just explaining this with you, or to you. If you don't really understand it, you should do some form of research or contact me privately, and then we'll see how best I can help you understand the Pythagoras theorem. But the Sky people should be okay with it. Now, having that, it means that 13 square should be equal to the length square plus what? The width square. Okay, that's the meaning. That is the meaning. Okay, so basically it means that our diagonal should be equal to all this. Our diagonal should be equal to all this. Now 13 squared is 169, so it means our diagonal is, okay, so once we've established this, we can go ahead to find the perimeter. How do we find the perimeter? We need two things. First of all, this statement here, remember binomial, polynomial, and all that. If I have a squared plus what, b squared, is the same as what, a plus what, b into bracket squared. Okay, so which means that this will actually be L plus W into bracket square equals 169. Please pay attention. This part is a bit technical, so if you have to watch the video over and over again before you are able to answer the questions, I will advise you do so. So once we've established this, we can solve binomial. Solving this binomial means L plus what, W, and then what, L plus what, W. Okay, remember master, slave. If you are confused at this, please watch the videos on polynomials or factorization. It's there. I'll put a link later in the description so that you can watch it and understand what we are trying to do. So which means that L into bracket L plus W plus what, W into bracket L plus W, and then plus what, LW plus what, LW plus what, W square. So this should give us L square plus what, W square plus what, 2LW. Okay, so this whole thing, that's what's going to give us. And remember, this whole thing is actually equal to 169. Okay, so we can see this whole thing is equal to 169. Now this one, what does it resemble? Doesn't it resemble what we did? It resembles this, right? Good. So it basically means that this would be 169 2LW. Okay, 169 plus 2LW. Now if it is 169, what will give us 169? What square will give us 169? 13. Okay, 13 square should give us 169. Now we need area. Area is what? Length times what? Width. Okay, we are trying to establish the sides. Okay, we are trying to establish the sides of what? The rectangle. Okay, so we'll need area. In order to find area, we need the length and we also need the side. Okay, we need the length and we also need the side. Awesome. So we'll quickly have to find the area and then we'll do the times 2. So L times 2. Okay, and then we've established that this L squared plus W squared is the same as L plus W all squared. And we are saying that L squared plus W squared should be L plus W should be equal to 169. And then we are saying that one number will square. Okay, two numbers that when we add and we square, we should get 169. Two numbers. This will give us 13 squared. Okay, 13 squared. Are we okay? 13 squared. Now I want to find out 13 squared. One number will actually give us 31 and then 13. Okay, so there's an issue with this one. Okay, there's an issue with this one. What two numbers will add to give us 13? But when you multiply, it should give us 60. But then again, that will become an issue because I was trying to change this question and I forgot to change the 60. So let's see if we can come up with a number that will add to give us 13. But when we multiply, so let's look at 7 and what, 6. So when we multiply 7 as 42. So this place is supposed to be 42 instead. So we'll do that. Okay, so it basically means this one will be 7 times what? 6. Okay, which will give us the 42. Okay, please, if you don't understand, you watch the video over and over again, you should understand. I'm saying that this should not be 60. So this 60, you actually find it in your assignments. I was trying to alter the assignments to create examples for you so that once you look at these examples, you should be able to solve the assignments that are going to be posted. So this 60 is actually for the assignments. I forgot to change the 60 to suit this 13. Okay, so you find out that in the assignment you see 13, you see another number which complements the 60. Okay, so I just have to change this so that it will be what, 42. So now this is 42. Once we've established that this is 42, then it means that we know the length and width of the rectangle. So we can draw that, and then we'll say this place is 7 and this place is 6. If this place is 6 because it's a rectangle, this place will also be 6, this place will also be 7. Then what we can do quickly is that we are going to add all this in order to find the perimeters. Should be equal to 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7. Yes, there's a better way to do it by doing 2 into bracket 6 plus 7, but I want to do the traditional way so that people will understand. Okay, so when we add the 2, we should get 26. So this is 26 as Oriku has said. So our perimeter is 26. Remember, we are using centimeters. The unit is very important. So 26 centimeters. Okay, so this is how you play around with the Pythagoras theorem, because they are talking about diagonal, and then you have to the diagonal in Pythagoras theorem is actually called hypotenuse. So those who have not done Pythagoras theorem, you have textbooks, you can go and then look at them. But for those who do the Skype class, they should not have an issue with this particular question. Let's move to the next example. I think we have a lot to do today. How many examples have we done so far? Let me count quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have about 2 more to go. 2 more to go after this one. Okay, so this example saying that a hall is 10 meters long and 7 centimeters broad. A hall should look like a box. Okay, and then if the sum of the areas of the floor and the ceiling is equal to the sum of the areas of the 4 walls, the volume of the hall is, it's supposed to be is over here. I don't know why that person has opened his mouth. Anyway, so let's draw the hall. So this is the hall. Now they are saying that the hall is 10 centimeters and then 7 centimeters broad. The sum of the areas of the floor and the ceiling is equal to 4 walls. Is equal to the 4 walls. So let's look at the sum of areas of the hall, the ceiling. The sum of the areas of the ceiling. Okay, let's go for the floor first. So the floor, all right, floor plus, so area of floor plus A of what? Ceiling is equal to the 4 walls. So remember, the 4 walls will have 2 different calculations for that. Okay, the 4 walls will need the height. Okay, we'll need the height. And then remember, we need the height because this one they are talking about the volume of the hall. You see, I don't know how to teach slowly. Andrea is saying I should teach slowly. Now I'm teaching slowly, you've been paying attention. So I'll have to talk fast the video and watch it, okay? So we need, because the 4 walls, if it comes to finding this side of the wall and this side of the wall, it will be 7 and the height. And then this side will be what? 10 and the height. It's very, very important, okay? So let's establish that the first wall will be 10 times what? The height. And then that's 2 of that plus the other wall, which is this side. Let me change the marker. So this one too will be, okay, so this one is actually 7, and then this one will be 10 times the height, and it's actually 2 of them. So this is basically what we are supposed to use. I'm going to take that again. And explain it again. So this time around, I'll change the marker. We are saying that the sum of area of the ceiling. So this is the ceiling, the floor. And to find the floor, we need this, and then we need this. It has been given to us. So let me just write it in words before we go to the calculation. So area of floor plus what? area of what? Ceiling. Okay, should be equal to the four walls. The sum of the area of the four walls. Now remember, it is a cubed. All the sides are not equal. So if it is a cubed and all the sides are not equal, it means that the wall here and then the wall here will be the same. And they will be different from the wall here and the wall here. With all of them, we need height. Because if I want to find the area of this particular wall, it's going to be this, the length of the wall, and then the height of the wall. If I want to find the area for this particular wall, okay, it's going to be the length of the wall and then the height of the wall. Okay, so that's why I established that because we have two of this, it is going to be 2 into bracket 7 times the plus, because they said sum. Okay, so plus, then we are looking at this side of the wall, which is going to be what? Twice or 2, because we have to do for this side and the opposite side. 10 times what? 2. H. 10 times H. Okay, so once we have that, then we can go ahead and find the area of the floor and the area of the ceiling. That becomes easy, or that is easy because area of the floor will be the same as area of the ceiling. Okay, they are all the same. It will be the length and then the width. Length and then the width. So we can say that area of floor will be 10 times 7 plus area of ceiling, which will also be 10 times what? 7, which will be what? This. So why are we writing all this? Because we need volume, we need the height. So we would have to quickly use this to find the height in order to get what? The volume. Solving this should give us 70 plus what? 70, which will be equal to that. So we want to expand this. This should give us 14h plus what? 20h. Factorization should tell you that we can factor out h. So h, we have 14 plus what? 20. Okay, and then this one will give us 140. Now we want to make h the subject, but before we do that, we want to simplify this side. So h into bracket, this will give us 34. Okay, now 34 is because they are saying I should slow down. That's why you can't hear me. 140. We'll divide both sides by this 34, and then this will cancel. Then we'll have h being equal to 140 over 34. So what do you think the answer will be? Will the answer be, what do you think the answer will be quickly? 140 divided by 34. So that we can find the height. Once we find the height, we should be able to find the area, the volume, sorry. You should be able to find, okay? So in calculating that, if you do your long division, you should have the height being equal to 4.11, okay, 4.117. You don't have to go further. 3 decimal places, fine. 4.117. Once we've established this, then we can use this height that we found to solve for the volume. So I'm going to do the volume on this side. So volume will be equal to length times what? Width times height. This is my length, this is my width, this is my height. I've established that the height is 4.117. Okay, I think it's 4.1176 or something. So, but we'll just end at 4.117. So once we've established that, it means that it will be 10 times what? 7 times what? 4.117. This will give us 70 times what? 4.117. To do this multiplication, all you have to do is to know that this is what? 3 decimal. And then you just do the multiplication normal. When you finish, you bring your 3 decimal place. So let's quickly do that so that we can get the answer. Let's do that quickly so that we can get the answer. And so doing, we should get Oh, please, that 2h. Which 2h are you talking about already? The 2 was used to multiply. That's how come we had the 7, 14, and then the 20. For feedback on that. Remember this 2, 2h. This 2 was used to multiply the 7 to give us, because it's multiplication. Bracket means multiplication. So basically that is it. Okay? So this one also be used to multiply to give us 20. So Condoleezza has given us the 288.19. And remember volume is what? Cube. So that will be meter cube. So Adra, sorry, I can't be talking slow because I'm not a slow teacher. So sorry about that. Basically, so that's how you solve it. Okay. So it's very advisable to draw the thing, break it down, and then use it for your calculations. It's very, very, very important. Oreku, which 2h? If anyone knows what Oracle is talking about, can you let me know? We are not doing addition, no, it is multiplication. So the 2, if you use it to expand, you get 14 times h. Okay, so take note, this place is not addition, expand. This place is not addition, that when you expand, you should have 2 here. No, it is multiplication, so they will all be together. Okay, so please take note of that. Thank you, Rebecca, for the answer. Let's move to the next question. So the next question, they're saying that 3 solid cubes of side 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 6 melted to form a new cube. Find the surface area of the cube formed. Okay, so cube, this is the first cube. Okay, and then this is the second cube. Very cool. It is 7 times h. 7 times h, you will not do 14 times 2h. Okay? It is multiplication, not addition. Are we okay? It is multiplication, not addition. It will be different if it was 7 plus h. That is when you get 14 plus 2h. But because it is multiplication, once you multiply the 2 by the 7, the 2 does not affect the h. So let's get back to this example. So basically that is it. So the first one will have 2, the second one 4, and then the third one 6. Okay, so once we've established this 2, 4, 6, giving us the length, the width, and the height, because it is a cube, all cubes have the same side. Okay, all cubes have the same side. So it basically means that if you want to find the volume of this cube, because it has the same side, this place will be 2, the height will also be 2. So the volume for the cube 1, the first cube, so let me write first, will be 2 times 2 or 2 times 2, which will give us 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8, right? So 8 centimeter square, no, cube, sorry. And then the volume for the second one, should be, the volume for the second one should also be the same thing, which would be V equals, so this second, so that will give us 4 times 4, 16 times 4. Yes, 4 times 4 will give us 16. 16 times 4 will be the answer. So I don't think if Adra is listening to me, she's enjoying this because she has slowed me down. Because today is a birthday, so I just have to respect her that I should slow down. So I'm slowing down. Adra, if you want me to talk, the class does not become boring. Okay? 64. So 64 meter, okay, centimeter cube. And then the third one should be awesome. So I just said I should talk fast. So the third one basically is going to be 6 times 6 times 6. So I'm waiting for that. So 6 times 6, sorry, 6 times 6 will give us 36 times another 6. What do you think the answer to that will be? Okay, 6 times 6 times 6 should give us 216. 216. Okay, 216. Now they are saying that all this was melted. So it means that after melting, the volume should be 8 plus 64, 216. Now let's do the summation for that. Let's do the summation for that. What do you think will be the summation for that? Please, we are waiting. No, 126 plus. So yes, Ajua, I don't know. I think it's her birthday, so she's on fire with the calculation. So this is the answer. So it basically means that if we say we don't know the calculations, then we can actually say that this should be the volume of the new cube. But we want to find the total surface area of the cube. Okay? We want to find the total surface area of the cube. If we want to find the total surface area of the cube, then we can actually find x cubed should be equal to 288. Now, x cubed being equal to 288, why should we do x cubed being equal to 288? Now, we know that we melted all this, okay? We melted all these cubes, and this was the volume. And then cube. Let me just draw a horrible cube. Should have x. We don't know the side. If you know the side, we can quickly go ahead to find the surface area. Represent the side with what? X. And we need 3 of that to be equal to what? The volume, the new volume. So it will be what? X cubed equals 288. Are we okay? So in order to find that, it basically means that we have to get rid of this cube. This brings me to an interesting thing where I want to talk about this. Remember when we have x squared, we get rid of it using a square root. When we have cube, what do you think we get rid of using? We use what? Cube root. Now, square root is the same as something raised to the power half. And the same as, sorry, let me bring the equal sign. It's the same as something raised to the power 1/3. Okay, so square root 1/2, cube root 1/3. So this will be 1/3. So in order to get rid of that, it basically means that this place is going to be 288 raised to the power what? 1/3. Once we've established that, we can quickly go ahead to use this in our calculations. We can quickly calculations. Okay, and then we can actually simplify this by using how do you call it, by using, I'm not going to say calculator because I know some people are waiting for me to say calculator. We can actually simplify this by basically using the indices rule. Okay, the indices rule tutorials on them, so please go and watch them so that you can simplify that. So once we've established this and you are able to find the value of the 2/3, then all you need to do is to use that to multiply each other 3 times, and then you get the total surface area of the cube form. So I'm not going to go into details because I want you to sit down and think out of the box. A lot of you are watching Netflix and other things, playing games. I've seen people streaming games and all that, doing gameplays on YouTube and all those. I believe as a student at this stage, it's a very perfect opportunity for you to sit down and then what? Achieve something. Okay? We've been 3 months into this. If you've not been able to at least finish the science syllabus, social studies syllabus, then there's a big question mark to you as a student. Life is not always about chilling and relaxing, okay? This is the time that people can actually hit the reset button and sit down and learn, so that that lost future of becoming a doctor, that lost future of becoming a scientist or something, you can actually now hit the reset buttons and learn to become an exceptional student so that you can achieve those dreams. You realize that maybe you're not doing so well in school because you didn't start well. But once schools have been closed, it's a perfect opportunity for you to train yourself, train your brain to match up with the people who you think are doing so well in school, so that when school resumes, you'll be on the same playing field with them. Not to sit at home and be watching Netflix. I am working, I'm done with school, so uh, I am done with school and all that. I'm still schooling, I still learn and all that. So Ajua is saying that doesn't mean that 288 will be multiplied by itself 3 times. No, we have to find the cube root of 288 first. Okay, we have to find the cube root of 288 first. So what it means is that to find the total surface area, it will be 2 raised to the power 3 times 2 raised to the power 3. And then you see, I'm going to tell you some surprising thing that will make this thing work for you. Even though I didn't want to solve it for you, I think I just have to solve it for you. Okay? So what this means is that when you have, remember when you have a times a times a, it's the same as a cubed. So if I have 288 raised to the power 1 over 3, 288 raised to the power 1 over 3, 288, it means that 288 raised to the power 1 over 3 into bracket 3. And once I didn't want to solve this, but I'll just quickly solve that because it's Adre's birthday and then she's confused. So I need to help her out. So once you have this, remember bracket means multiplication, so it becomes 288 1 over 3 times what? 3. And then this will cancel this. So at the end of the day, you have 288. And then you put your units there and get the answer. So basically, that is how you can easily and quickly solve this. Okay? I don't think the question in the assignment will be the same as this, but then again, let's see. If you have any issues, you just have to come back and watch this video over and over again. Those who go and use calculator, are you cool? Let's move to the next example. I think this is the last example we need to do before we call it a day. The curved surface area of a cylindrical pillar, okay, is 264 meter square. The square didn't come well, so meter square, and its volume is this. Find the ratio of its diameter to its height. Find the ratio of its diameter to its height. Okay, find the ratio of its diameter to this height. So I think this particular question, I didn't really change the question. Okay, it's actually straightforward. So what we are going to do is that I'll solve it to some points, but I'm not going to give the final answer. I'm just going to do some blueprints, and then you're going to use that to get to your answer. So on that, it basically means that diameter to what? Height. It means you have to find the height, you have to find the diameter. Okay, the curved surface area of a cylindrical pillar. So pi r squared h, that is what? The curved surface area. Okay, that is the curved surface area. That is basically the, how do you call it? Just the hollow part. So this is just the curved surface area. This side is what we call the curved surface area. So with this one, is basically this. We are just solving this. And remember in our previous listing, we said L times W, and then the L is equal to what? 2 pi r, not pi r squared h. That's the volume. Okay, I think I'm tired. That's why. And then this is basically the height. So it means that the curved surface area should be equal to, let me bring it here, 2 pi r h, and that is equal to what? 264. And then the volume, which I wrote the first time, is this one. Okay, now ratio means fraction, so you bring your fraction bar. Now once you bring your fraction bars, we'll see. Let's rewrite this because 2 equal signs is not advisable in math. Is especially when you're trying to say they are equal. 264 over what? 924. Okay, so having this, I think we can do some form of breakdown. Okay, so this h will cancel this h. So the goal is that they said radius, diameter. So when we find the radius, we'll be able to find the diameter. Then we can use that to find the height. And then once we find the height, we can do the ratio for them. That is the point. Okay, the pi can go away. The r, we have one r here, and then we have another r here. So when we take one of the r's, it will be left with 1. So at the end of the day, we'll have what? 2 over r equals 264 over what? 924. I prefer to flip this over, so to go 2 and then 924 over what? 264. Okay, so once I have that, what it means is that I can easily find r. So it will be 264 r equals 924 times 2. And what would that give us? 924 times 2, what would that give us? Quickly, I'm so exhausted. What would that give us? No one is talking. Okay. 9, 18. Okay. 2, 4, 8. So 18, 4, 8. So that's how you do your calculation actually. So 264r. We'll divide both sides by 264r. 264r. Now we are going to divide it by 264r. What do you think will be the answer? Help me out. I'm tired. What do you think will be the answer? So r should be equal to 7, I think. Yeah, r should be equal to 7. So once we've established that r is equal to 7, we can quickly use that to find the diameter. Diameter is equal to r times r. Okay, or no, it's not r times r, sorry, twice the radius. Okay, so it means that 2 times 7 should give us diameter. So diameter will be what? 14. So let's keep that because we are going to do the ratio for it. Thank you very much for putting the answer across. Once we've established that, we'll quickly just pick any of them and then we find the height. I think I'll pick the one without the square. So pick any of this because we know pi, we know the value of pi, and then we know the radius, which is 7. We can easily find the height. So it will be what? 2 pi RH equals 264. And then we'll find, oh, I said I'm not going to solve this. Look at me, I'm solving everything. So I think I'll stop here, but let me just fix the answers there for you. So you do 2